Shalom, shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off this lesson by giving all honor, praises, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Acha Kodash. Double honors to my teachers, the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, teaching and ruling well. Peace, salutations, and blessings unto the hopeful elect of the house of Israel. Lord willing, this lesson will be edifying. Okay? And we're going to go into, we're going to bring out a few precepts pertaining to how the end is near. Okay, we're having news that the government shutdown is about to come to an end. Okay, but again, fret not. Okay, because even if that situation comes to an end, okay, the end itself, the end of this wicked kingdom will come to pass. Okay, because we know that the devil works with gradualism. Okay, sometimes he'll turn up the heat and lower it down, playing with these people's emotions, bugging them out ultimately. Okay, but we know according to prophecy what we have to expect, what we have to wait for, and understand to understand the times that we're in. Okay, so again, it says here in Habakkuk 2:2, and the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. Okay, so in a way, write these prophecies, write it down, okay, so that whosoever reads it, okay, reads it, may do the work, may understand the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai, that he may understand that the Lord has intentions to bring evils, okay, meaning bad times to this kingdom, to this empire, okay, ruled by the Edomites, the so-called white man. Okay, you see, okay, that's the intention that the Lord has. Okay, because again, for all the evils that are being done in the world, okay, you see, it says here, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. Okay, the vision is set up for an appointed time. It will come to pass. Okay, you see, at the beginning of the government shutdown, people were bugging out. People were in a state of shock because they didn't know when it would come to an end. It came even to the point where the shutdown broke records. Okay, it was the longest shutdown in history. Okay, you see, and that is just another sign of the times. Okay, another sign that this kingdom is on its way out. Okay, so it's not for us to lose hope, lose faith in the words of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yashai. The evils will come. The evils are already prepared. As it says, the end watch it for thee. The end is there. We just have to get to it. Okay, but every step brings us closer and closer and closer to the end of this wicked kingdom and the beginning, Salakia, and the beginning of the kingdom to come. Okay, the kingdom of righteousness established by Yahweh through Yahweh Shai and the 144,000. Okay, so it says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. Okay, but at the end it shall speak. Okay, and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it. Okay, even if it takes its time, wait for it. Salakia. Even if it takes its time, wait for it, because it will surely come. It is without a doubt. Okay, if you have faith, you understand that without a doubt, the words of prophecy will come to pass. Those are the sure words of prophecy, something that we can take to the bank, because we know that the Lord is not a man that he shall lie. Has the Lord said something and will he not do it? Okay, can someone disannul the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshai? No way, man. What the Lord has written will come to pass, and the destruction of Babylon has been written. Okay, the abasement of these Edomites has been written. Okay, the exaltation of the elect of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshai has been written. Okay, and again, the kingdom of heaven, or or even the coronation. Okay, the establishment of the kingdom of heaven on earth has been seen, seen through prophecy. Okay, so it will come to pass. Okay, so again, it will surely come, it will not tarry. Okay, and again, you have to understand that the Lord, his timing is not the same as our timing. One day for the Lord is as 1,000 years. Okay, so everything's moving fast according to the spiritual time. Okay, it's just us in the flesh and in this carnal bodies. It seems like it's taking its time. Okay, it seems like it's tarrying, but in the spiritual realm, in the eyes of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshai, everything is happening very fast. Okay, so again, we have to be spiritually minded. Okay, we have to understand that these things are actually happening very fast. Okay, so that being said, let me bring out. Okay, because again, I wanted to bring out this point. It says here in 2nd Ezra 16 and 36, behold the word of the Lord. Actually, before I even bring this out, let me bring out 16 and let me see. Yeah, it says here in 2nd Ezra 15 and 14, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draw it nigh. Okay, the sword and their destruction draw it nigh. It's on its way. It's already. I believe I speak as a man. Okay, uh, the pandemic. Okay, what we had to endure during these times, the past few years, starting in 2020, during the COVID, was the beginning of the of it was the beginning of the temptation, or rather the beginning of the evils, if I use my words more appropriately. The COVID was the beginning of the evils. It was the opening of the floodgates of evils. Okay, because now is and we're gonna go into it. It's similar to onto a woman that is pregnant. Okay, and there's 3 trimesters. Okay, the beginning, the first 4 months, and then the second trimester, and then the third trimester, which leads onto the birth, the deliverance of that baby. Okay, and now I believe that through the Spirit, COVID, okay, the C-19 was the beginning of the pregnancy, or the beginning of those evils coming to pass on the earth. Okay, and from that point on, we will not we did not look back, in a sense, to go back into a quote unquote normacy. Okay, from the time that the earth was hit with that plague. Okay, there was no looking back. Okay, the arrows of evil have been shot, and they will not return unto the Lord, man. Okay, that arrow has been shot and is moving forward towards its goal, and it's going to hit its target. Okay, so again, for their sword and their destruction draw it nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be seditions among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Okay, verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods for the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Okay, that the great tribulation is what the Lord is about to bring on the earth. Okay, all these things, the sedition, okay, the sword, okay, the wars, okay, the destruction, okay, the pestilences, the wild beasts, all these things are sent as evils onto, okay, because again, we have to remember that the day of the Lord is a day of darkness, a day of gloominess, a day of destruction, a day of wrath, great wrath. Okay, a day of righteous anger. Okay, that the Lord is about to bring upon this earth. Okay, and the love of many shall wax old, shall wax cold. So, like the love of many shall wax cold because of the evils, because iniquity shall increase on the earth. Okay, as those that fear the Lord will increase in their faith and will increase in the fear of the Lord, those that are walking according to their own thoughts, according to their own vain opinions, and according to their own vanity, okay, they're gonna increase in their wickedness, as it says, the wicked man shall increase, shall wax worse and worse. They're gonna go deeper and deeper into darkness. Okay, the events the events that the Lord is about to bring, the evils that the Lord is about to bring on the earth, will lead people to lose their minds. Okay, and the earth is gonna be in a complete state of chaos. Okay, you see, and that is the vision, that is the intention that the Lord has pertaining to this wicked kingdom, as it has been established by evil and wickedness. By violence will it have to be toned down. And again, these people that refuse to hearken and acknowledge Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua as being the true living power will also have to suffer these evils. Okay, for their unfaithfulness. Okay, it says here, where is it, the day of see. Is it here? Woe is me, woe is me. Okay, 16. Okay, so it says here, second Ezra 16 and 17, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? Okay, that is Ezra speaking, understanding the fact that even the elect are going to be in the midst of the chaos. Okay, but again, the just man shall be saved. He that endured until the end, he that overcometh the hour of temptation and doesn't denounce Yahweh Bashim Yeshai, doesn't turn his back on the Lord and confesses his name, okay, remain steadfast for the name of the Lord and his testimony, the word of faith, the word of truth, this gospel, okay, he the same shall be saved. Even if he dies, even if he gives up his life, the Lord will bring him back. Okay, and it says here, verse 18, the beginning of sorrows and great mourning, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as a scourge for amendment. So amendment is what is a punishment. The Lord is going to punish the world for their iniquity, for their transgressions, for their disobedience. Okay, you see. But again, it says here, it's gonna, so the beginning of sorrows, okay, in those days, the beginning of sorrows. And I believe through the Spirit, the C19 was the beginning, okay, was the starting line, okay, that was the start of those evils, the beginning of sorrows coming to pass, okay, because from that time, okay, it has been from 2020, it was evils after evils after evils, and just be prepared, because those evils are only going to increase, okay, and as we're gonna go into it, okay, so birth pains. So it says here in Second Ezra 16 and 38. Now I'll start at this. Second Ezra 16 and 36. Behold the word of the Lord, receive it. Okay, in other words, believe it. Okay, believe not the gods of whom the Lord speaks. So denounce those idols. Okay, forsake the ways of the world. Be not conformed to the ways of the world, but being transformed by the renewing of your mind. And how do you do that? By acknowledging the ways of the Lord, by acknowledging that the word of the Lord, this gospel is the truth. Okay, acknowledging Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, according to their true Hebrew names. Okay, and also changing your ways, repenting. Okay, acknowledging your faults, and abstaining from evil. And how do you know what is evil and what is good? Okay, by reading, by going through the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord. That is how you gain the knowledge of what is pleasing unto the Lord, and what things you must abstain from. Okay, so it's through, as it says, blessed is he who readeth. Okay, if you don't read the Bible, if you don't read the word of, if you don't get acquainted with the words of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, how will you know how to maneuver in the times that we're in? Okay, without this knowledge, you're gonna be as a man walking in darkness. Okay, you're gonna be someone without direction. Okay, tossed to and fro, as it says. Okay, that's why it says wisdom and knowledge. Then wisdom and knowledge of this gospel, the gospel of the kingdom. Okay, uh, is going to be the stability of thy time during the times of evil, while the Lord is bringing all that judgment on the world. First of all, you're going to know that the Lord is the one sending it. Okay, and you're going to understand that it's his will. Okay, and you're going to have the name of the Lord to call upon for salvation, for safety. Okay, one thing that the people that are in the world will not have. Okay, but it's not just a thing of knowing the name, it's applying and obeying his words, being obedient. As it says, obedience is better than sacrifice. Okay, so not only do you have to know the name, but you have to serve the Lord in fear and trembling. Okay, so again, here it says here, verse 37, behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack. Okay, the plagues are coming. Matter of fact, the plagues are here and they're not slack, meaning what? They don't waste time. Okay, and again, as we're getting closer and closer to the end of this kingdom, the evils are going to be closer and closer unto each other. Okay, as when a woman with child in the 9th month bringing forth her son with 2 or 3 hours of her great of her birth, great pain compasses her womb. Okay, which pain when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Okay, so again, just as a woman that is giving birth, when she's giving birth, there's birth pains. Okay, the contractions leading her to feel great pain. Okay, you see, even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth. So so Ezra is comparing the birth pains unto the evils that the Lord is going to bring about in the earth. Okay, so that scenario of a woman being pregnant all the way until like the beginning of her pregnancy, until the end of her delivering that child, is similar to how the Lord is going to bring evils upon the earth. Okay, until Israel, the elect of the house of Israel, are delivered from the hands of their oppressors. Okay, that is the moment where, as similar to when Yahweh, the baby being delivered, is similar to when Yahweh will pierce the clouds and deliver his elect. Okay, so it says here, verse 39, even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. Okay, O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to thy battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. Okay, so again, even that, you have to prepare yourself, okay, mentally, physically, and spiritually for the things that are about to happen. We're about to see major death. Okay, we're about to see extreme. We're about to see a large number, okay, a massive number of deletions. Okay, the Lord, it will put a lot of people to deletions, like I said, because of judgment. Okay, we have to be mentally prepared to see that your family members, okay, your friends, people in the world, people that you may have known, acquaintances, okay, a lot of people, the unfaithful ultimately will receive their recompense for their unfaithfulness. Okay, so just to back up the point of the day of the Lord being similar to to a woman that is pregnant, okay, and going through the phases of her contraction pains. Okay, so it says here, let's go. I googled, I asked the demon, okay, the AI demon, okay, what birth pains, as it says on the screen, and it says birth pains is a common term for labor contractions. Okay, I'm gonna skip that. Okay, and so it's a common term for labor contractions. What birth pain feels like. This is the sensation of labor pains is highly individual. Okay, so it goes into cramps. Okay, aching or pressure, tightening. Okay, intensity. Okay, so it's intense. Okay, just as it says here, true labor contractions do not stop if you change positions or try to relax, and they steadily increase in strength, length, and frequency as labor progresses. So this is the point that I wanted to go into. The closer you get to the pregnancy, the stronger and more intense and the longer and more frequent those pains get. Okay, it only increases the level of evils. The severity of those evils will only increase. Okay, we saw what happened during COVID. Okay, we saw what happened during the time of that pandemic. We saw what happened, the effects that the wars all over the world are having. Okay, especially on the other side of the earth. Okay, what's it called? Okay, the small hats. Okay, the small hats and Palestine. Okay, that effect that it had on the world. Okay, Russia versus Ukraine, that effect that it had on the world. That's other birth pains. Okay, wars. Okay, we're having protests in Nepal recently. Okay, hey, the financial struggles. Okay, that are happening all over the world, especially because of the government shutdown. All these things are part of the birth pains. And again, we're living in a time of polycrisis, and again, it's slowly going to increase. Okay, so it says here, so again, It says here, true labor contractions do not stop. Okay, they do not stop if you change position or try to relax. Okay, it doesn't just leave. Okay, there's gonna be a time, as it says, the day of the Lord is gonna be as if a man runs away from a lion and then ends up being chased by a bear, and then ends up escaping from the bear, and then he thinks that he's in peace, that he's in safety, leans his hand on the wall, and then gets bit by a serpent. So there is no escaping it. You're gonna go through hell. You're gonna catch hell. Okay, we're coming to a time where your life is gonna be in danger every day, man. You're gonna be in fight or flight mode. You're gonna be in survival mode 24/7. Okay, you see, this is the time that we're coming into, man. A good movie to watch to put your mind into that perspective is the movie The Road. Okay, you see, as it says, be prepared to be pilgrims on the earth. Yeah, that's exactly the times that we're coming into, man. Okay, especially if you refuse to take, especially if you refuse to take the mark of the beast, which is the microchip. Okay, which the government, the elites of this world will eventually force, seek to implement by law, decree, to put people to death who refuse to bow down to this wicked kingdom, and insert implement a RFID microchip inside their bodies. Okay, so it says here, and pertaining to the birth pains, it says here. Let me see. I asked the question. It says here, the second thing that I asked is labor contractions from start of pregnancy until birth. So it says here, um, it says here, straight to the point. So it says here there's three stages. So again, contractions in the first trimester. So in the first like 4 months. Okay. It says here during the first few months, contractions are usually very mild and unnoticeable. So it's nothing. It's just, nothing that you can handle. Okay. Nothing that the woman can handle. Okay. They are okay. So I'm gonna skip that. So it says here you have sensation. You may feel like a very mild, fleeting cramp. Okay. It says here okay, so yeah, it's more like a feeling. You might feel off a bit. It might hurt a little bit. Just as it says, it's very mild. Okay, and then it says here the second trimester. Okay, it says here the second and third Braxton Hicks contractions. It says here they are often called practice contractions or false labors. Okay, but they're still there in a sense. Okay, it's not because it's just as the government shutdown. Okay, it was if it does reopen, if the government shutdown comes to an end, that will be synonymous to a false labor. Okay, it will be synonymous to a false labor because that did not lead unto the Messiah returning to the earth. Okay, it didn't return. It didn't lead to the end of this wicked kingdom. Okay, but it was an event that still shook the inhabitants of Babylon. Okay, and it had an effect on the world ultimately, man. Okay, you see, so it still had an effect. Okay, so it says here sensation, a painless or mildly uncomfortable uh tightening or hardening of the abdomen. Okay, so it's painless in the sense, or mildly uncomfortable, so you still feel a sense of uncomfortability in that stage. Okay, the pain might not be it says painless. Okay, but hey, these people they imagine not being paid for over a month. So you're gonna start feeling some type of way, man. Okay, not knowing if you're gonna get paid. Okay, and again, these people didn't know if it was even right now. We don't know if it came to an end. Okay, we don't know if the government shutdown is gonna end today, or if it's gonna end in a week, or if it's gonna end in a month, in another month. Okay, so again, those are some kind of stress that can build up, man. Imagine not having been paid over a month and you're still going to work. Okay, so it says here patterns. It says irregular in timing, frequency, and intensity. They do not get stronger, longer, or closer together. Okay, so the timing is off. Okay, you can't time it. Okay, the frequency doesn't come every. The frequency also is off. Okay, and the intensity is not as intense. Okay, see, it's not as intense, but it's still intense. Okay, it says here, uh, and there's still ways to, as it says, what stops them. Okay, there's still ways to ease that uncomfortability. Okay, that feeling of not being comfortable. Okay, it says here, they usually stop or ease up if you change your position. Okay, there might be some in a situation. Okay, you could have got yourself a second job. Okay, let's say if you were a government worker, and you knew and in a situation where you figured out, hey, I might as well change my shift to part time and get my start doing Uber. I'm gonna start doing Uber so I can at least put some food on the table. Okay, you see, so there's ways that you could ease the pain. Okay, but then you get to the last trimester, the third, it says late third trimester and birth, the true labor contractions. Okay? We're getting to the real deal Holyfield, man. Okay? It says here, um, it says here, in the early in the at the beginning of the well, at the end of the third trimester, near the birth, it says here mild to moderate, begin as mild cramps, becoming stronger and more regular. So okay, so if you change that in the perspective of the evils, they're gonna be more intense. The intensity is gonna become even more uh uh undeniable. Okay, it's gonna be more it's gonna be stronger in a sense, more regular. It's gonna be, hey, it's gonna happen. Consistency of the evils are gonna be more and more uh present. Okay, it says here timing starts wide apart. Okay, 15 to 20 minutes, becoming gradually becoming closer every 5 minutes apart. Okay, so you went from having a moment of rest to having no moment of rest, to constantly being in a state of having to be in danger in a sense. Okay, where your life, your freedom, your hopes are in jeopardy, man. Okay, so it says here in the active phase, so when you're actually giving birth, it says strong and intense. You can no longer talk or make or walk through them easily. Okay, so you're catching now you're going through pure hell. Okay, when the Jacob's trouble is here, you're gonna catch pure hell, man. Okay, now we're not in the stage of, oh, you could just find another solution, you can figure a way out. Okay, you can find ways to ease the pain. No, man, now the pain is here and you're gonna feel it. There's no escaping it now. Now you're face to face with that beast, man. Okay, okay, you can no longer talk or walk through easily. And again, these people won't be having in a sense, you won't have an answer for the evils. You won't be able to chase them away. Okay, the evils are here and there's nothing you can do with it. You have to deal with that. Okay, it says timing regular, coming much closer. Okay, so from that point, okay, so the at the early latent phase, so right before the pregnancy, you had at least 15 to 20 minutes rest. The evils were coming, well, the cramps were there 15 to 20 minutes apart. Okay, all the way to 5 minutes, and they got down to 5 minutes apart. And now when you're actually giving birth, when the woman is actually giving birth, the pains happen to like 2 to 5 minutes apart, man, lasting longer. Okay, see, it goes even a minute of pain, man. Okay, a minute even longer in pain. Okay, you see. Okay, so let's go into it. So basically, so yeah, that's the point, man. So as we're getting closer and closer to the deliverance of that infant, okay, to the deliverance of that baby, okay, the intensity, the length, the what was it again? The intensity. Let me just find it. Yeah, so the frequency, the timing, and the intensity only gets stronger and longer. Okay, so you get it. So as we're getting closer to the end of this kingdom, if you're not in the sanctuary of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, if you're not seeking for the Lord, okay, you should prepare yourself to 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 to, to catch hell, man. Yeah, and again, these people are gonna be caught unawares. If you're not seeking the Lord, you're not gonna see it happen, which will only add to that uncomfortability. Okay, if you're not paying attention, if you're not being mindful of the signs of the times, you're just gonna be caught by surprise, and that fact will only lead you to suffer more. Okay, so don't fret or don't lose hope, because if the government shutdown comes to an end, okay, because again, though it tarry, it will surely come to pass. All right, so those evils will come to pass, and we're gonna come into a time where those evils are gonna be undeniable and without unsolvable. Okay, these people will not have a way to to escape the hands of the Lord. Okay, even to the point, wait, it's not like they're escaping it now. Okay, regardless, they're not escaping the hands of the Lord even now. Okay, but the evils are only going to intensify and become stronger and longer, and eventually these people will just have to face face the fact, face the wrath of the Maker. All right, so Lord willing, this was edifying. I like to give all honor, praises, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kodash. Until next lesson, shalom, shalom, shalom.